This exhibit has been over 2 years in the making, and I am so thrilled to see all of you here to see the story of Middletown's maritime past. We try to do exhibits that tell a story because we want people to see all these fabulous things that we have in our collection. And that's where the story of a vanished port was born. And it's not just the story of the rich people who owned the artifacts, but it's how they got rich, and the fact that many of them got very wealthy from the suffering of the enslaved people of the Caribbean, and that there were enslaved people here in Middletown as well. And that's something most people who live here don't know.
We're telling a story that is just below the surface of the history books. It seems to be vanished, but in truth, it is all there. From the mid-18th century until the earliest part of the 19th century, Middletown was the fourth largest port in New England. The waterfront of Middletown bristled with wharves. There were ships coming and going every day. It was a constant hum of activity. There was this fantastically successful maritime trade with the Caribbean that created the foundation of the city's 18th century wealth. The money from the Caribbean with which Middletown was trading was derived from sugar plantations where enslaved people from Africa and their descendants were being worked to death in the sugar monoculture. And you begin to understand why are certain things important and what was used for trade in the Caribbean. Why did they need our horses and our potatoes and onions and our lumber? Well, it's because in the Caribbean, nothing mattered more than sugar. Why would you grow potatoes when you could grow sugar, which was worth 15 times what those potatoes would be worth? So we were the necessary supplier. And we were the perfect middle spot for both the agriculture and the maritime shipping. And most of the story comes from not just the objects and the paintings and the beautiful things, but from documents.
So the challenges were how to make all of that work to be evocative, compelling, and attractive exhibit. The star of the show are those logbooks. So we managed to put those on an iPad Pro, and visitors can actually turn the pages of that. And we've done some transcriptions in case you're having trouble with the penmanship.
It is the document that tells you that kind of perfect and telling detail. If another museum or historical society were contemplating an exhibit like this, I can't offer better advice than to go to Connecticut Humanities. We were guided very specifically in how to put this project together. Without this funding and this help, it would have taken years to raise this money and to make it possible to do the research in the space of about 8 months. That couldn't have happened without that Connecticut Humanities funding.
And as we look as a city to further redevelop our riverfront and reconnect, this exhibit is actually a great way to review what has happened to the city of Middletown and where we come from as a community.
My hope and the hope of our team members is that people will look at these beautiful objects and see a different story underlying them.